A Jewish charity event to help disaffected young boys was mobbed by anti-Israel protesters after the address was leaked by a provocative social media activist. You can see on your screen there, disturbing footage shows the crowd abusing Jewish passers-by in Hendon in North London while being blocked by police. Well, joining me now is a journalist from the Jewish Chronicle who broke that story, Jane Prinsley. Jane, thank you very much for joining us on GB News. Once again, an anti-Semitic incident, this time outside a charity of all places. Can you explain to us what happened and why?
Yeah, so this was an event targeted at some disaffected young boys who this charity reaches out to. It's a charity that tries to help disaffected young Jewish boys. It's based in Hendon. You'll see its offices has no kind of Jewish demarcation outside. It's very discreet, as is often the case with Jewish institutions. And they were holding a lunch and learn with 4 boys who had been excluded from school with an IDF veteran who was there to talk to the boys. It wasn't about the war in Gaza. It was actually about them getting back on the straight and narrow, avoiding drugs, and it was to inspire the boys. Anyway, details of this event leaked on social media, including the address, and it was shared widely on lots of anti-Israel channels, and it inspired this mob which arrived outside the offices to intimidate and to provoke the Jewish residents of the area and the charity, and targeting these young boys, really.
How targeted and unfair do you think this is, and how unsafe do people feel? I mean, having a mob turn up at an address being leaked on social media, it must have made people feel very, very concerned for their safety.
It's terrifying. I think this mob were masked. They had speakers. They were there with a clear purpose to intimidate and provoke. And the event was an event for young Jewish boys. I think we can talk all we want about the particularities of the speaker, but at the end of the day, it was an event for young Jewish boys to help them get back on the straight and narrow. And it was in an unprovoked kind of arrival of this mob, sort of inspired by a few high-profile individuals on social media sharing this address.
And Jane, I don't want to name the organisation in question. I just don't want to give them the oxygen of publicity. But they're the same organisation that posted the address of a school recently. We had a young mother on this show. They put Palestinian flags outside that school. They barracked the school. They demanded the head teacher lose his job. They caused a huge concern. And this is the same mob again. They seem to have a modus operandi of specifically rallying a rabble on the streets with a specific intent to intimidate and harass.
Exactly. It's pretty terrifying for Jewish residents in the area. One thing I will say is yesterday the police and the CST were on hand, and they were there. They'd been informed by the charity CEO that the address had been leaked, and he was really clear that the police were pretty supportive yesterday in sort of separating the mob from the charity itself. But I mean, it must be costing such a huge amount of money for the police. Wasting all of our time, as well as putting a genuine kind of threat on these organisations and institutions, and these poor individuals just trying to go about their life, trying to do good by do a bit of charity or go to school.
OK, Jane Prinsley, a journalist from the Jewish Chronicle, thank you for sharing